5-step pitch to fix Sony's Spider-Man universe. Number 1. But Sony should hire the directors of Into the Spider-Verse into the Kevin Feige position. This is because I believe they understand the importance of making a universe that is distinguishable and has narrative heartfelt properties. Holding together a studio comes from a management position, a position which is enough to give filmmakers creative control, but be able to help them pursue the vision set by what the company wants. And these guys seem to be able to do that. Number 2, develop different genre Spider-Man films, with each movie having a different message or theme, but staying true to the core of Spider-Man's identity values. And by Spider-Man, I am not talking about Peter Parker. There are multiple versions of Spider-Man in the Marvel multi-universe. It is high time we create more Spider-People movies. It's only been somewhat years, and we have only had 3 versions of live-action Spider-People. And all of them have been fully concentrating on adapting Peter Parker's storyline. LOCUST Garden recently made a Spider-Man fan film, and to my surprise, they fully leaned into the horror genre. It was quite a breath of fresh air to see, and I'm surprised Sony has not capitalized on this innovative idea. What is the reason we have never seen a Spider-Man horror film before? It would also be good to see a remake of the Japanese Spider-Man show, hiring actors and crew from Japan, either it being a legacy of the original show or a complete remake for the new era. Number 3, make Null the ultimate bad guy, a singular being who is a threat to multiple universes or just one universe. Do not kill him off in his first appearance as well. Number 4, Sony needs to fully commit to Spider-Man. Let us stop bringing back old recognizable characters played by the same actors. There's a rumor of Sony doing this exact same thing. Already, Alfred Molina, who played Doc Ock in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and No Way Home, is rumored to be coming back in a Sinister Six and possibly future movies. The reason being, and I quote, is that these are characters audiences are familiar with, to which I think it is a very bad idea. BADABOOM podcast has a really well worded video on this exact topic, and I agree with what he has to say. Link will be in the description. Number 5, Sony should focus less on making an interconnected universe. Have one and done movies per Spider-Person, but have a main trio that will get trilogies to the stories for audiences to get attached to. What you should be doing is releasing 1 or 2 projects each year and nothing more, because the MCU already has a monopoly on the market and anything else would just be a hassle for the audience. You don't want to adopt the reoccurring problems Marvel's MCU is having. So the best thing to do is keep the audience hungry for more but satiated with what they are already given. So, with the 5-step plan I just made, here is my timeline of movies I would like to make. Our trio of main characters would be Sydney Sweeney's Spider-Woman, Ben Reilly's Spider-Man, and Silk's Spider-Woman. All these films are taking place in their own separate respective universes, with no links or ties to each other. Same as how Tobey Maguire is in his own universe compared to Andrew's or Tom Holland's. Firstly, we will start off with the Sydney Sweeney Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman film, releasing in 2025. I'll follow up to the events of Madam Web, with the other Spider-Woman from that film also making an appearance in it. But the story will be more centered around Julia. Next is Spider-Man Noir. This is apparently a show that is already in production, with Nicolas Cage reprising his role from the animated film into live action. I would love to see a Ben Reilly origin film adapted into a movie, so a release date of 2026, with both Ben and Peter being played by a new face. Next is by far my favorite pitch, and one I think would have a huge fan interest: a Japanese Spider-Man TV show. This show will either be a legacy sequel to the original 1978 show, or a new take with either of the multiple Spider-Man Japan variants. Set in Japan with a Japanese cast and crew behind the lens, releasing in 2026. Wrapping up the Julia Carpenter storyline is Spider-Woman Part 3. This story will be more of a mystical, magical narrative, with Julia forever ending up lost in an unknown planet, setting up the events of her appearance in Secret Wars. This would be the one film tied to the MCU, simply because I would love to see Sydney Sweeney interact with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Commonly on the internet, Silk is one character people seem to want to see on screen. And I feel Sony should be a company willing to listen to what the fans of these characters want. So, releasing a Silk film in 2028, this film will have to be good. Otherwise, the community will not be welcoming to such a beloved character's first time on screen, being mediocre or bad. So all the resources within the company will be pushed towards making this work. The next is a Ben Reilly Spider-Man 2 film, adapting one of his storylines in the comics. Not sure what though. This film would be coming out in 2028, maybe later that year. The next year, we would have the first ever R-rated Spider-Man horror film, a bold new direction for the Sony Spider-Man universe. It would most likely be a body horror, like John Carpenter's The Thing, or David Cronenberg's The Fly. And one thing I would love to do is involve the people who worked in Locust Garden's short film within this project in any form. By the end of the year 2029, Sony would have and have been developing a trust with their audience to deliver incredibly new and innovative storyline, and a wholehearted concern with listening to the fans. That same year, a poll would be taken out for the fans to decide which new Spider-Man and women they would love to see on screen for the foreseeable future. To wrap up the 10 year of these films, we would have a part 3 to Ben Reilly's story, wrapping up the Clone Saga. And the final film will be a villain origin story for the King of Symbiotes, a full-on character breakdown of Null, his birth till imprisonment by his children, the symbiotes.